Hello everyone. So my name is Saad Fazal. Today I'm going to make a fourth course of our MECM series, and the topic is Cloud Management Gateway. So far we have deployed clients, installed MECM successfully, set up lab, including PKI. So today I'm gonna go over the Cloud Management Gateway piece and how you can configure it from the scratch. And I'm going to share a few minutes what's the purpose of CMG so we know the concept. Let's do that. So I have a TechNet article in front of me. I'm going to follow the same article, nothing new. But I have put together some steps with the screenshots and step-by-step configuration guide that I'm going to blog as well. So the purpose of CMG is the main purpose of the Cloud Management Gateway is to take care of your internet-based clients, generally referred client on the WAN network. So in this scenario, in our lab, we have some devices that are not a part of my lab network. I have some physical laptops lying on my desk. We're going to install the SCCM client through the Cloud Management Gateway and make sure the client is reaching out to those devices, and we can manage those devices. So here's the architecture of the CMG. So if you look at that, the Cloud Management Gateway, here's a roaming laptop, the service connection point. That's the service that makes the connection to the Azure CMG service. And it offers MP, DP, and SUP as well. So it's not a traditional DP, it's called Cloud Distribution Point. We're going to go over into that as well once we get to the point where we have the CMG installed. All right, so these are the steps here, like deploy the CMG cloud service to Azure, add the CMG connection point role, and configure the site and site roles for the service. So what I have done so far, I'm going to show you, and maybe I can real quick go over the steps with you guys as well. So here's my guide, which I'm preparing to blog. Here are the high-level steps I'm going to work on. So verify globally unique name. You must have an Azure subscription to deploy CMG. So let's go step by step. So the verify globally unique name, you can check two ways. The one is directly from the Azure portal or from the command prompt. So if I expand this, make it bigger for you. So Azure, let's go to the Azure portal. So this is the landing page, and when you get to the Azure portal home, portal.azure.com, look for the classic cloud service. It's going to be deprecated soon, but there will be an alternate. Click on create cloud service classic. Choose the right region where you can deploy the cloud services, and then choose the resource group. If you don't have, create a new one. I do have a resource group. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to choose the unique name. In my case, I'm going to choose Azure Lab Academy 01.cloudapp.net. So this name is available. For example, if I do like test, this is not available, right? Test 1, not available. These are common names. So this has to be globally unique across all the tenants, right? So I came up with my tenant name, which is fortunately unique. So I'm gonna utilize this name in my lab. Once you find out that your name is uniquely available across the tenant and across the globe, that's it you need from the cloud portal, and you exit out of here, and that's it. And another way to do it is to use the NS lookup here. NS lookup dot east-us dot. If you look at the documentation, I'm going to show you the documentation as well. cloudapp.azure.com. One second here. So it couldn't find it. So Azure Lab Academy .ecus.cloudapp.azure.com. So if you follow the TechNet documentation here, here's the document. So this is the naming pattern. So if you have your custom domain, you can go with the custom domain name, but in this case, you need a CNAME to route the traffic to this domain, cloudapp.azure.com. My previous cloud CMG was deployed just on cloudapp.net, but this time it's a slightly change here. If you're using a commercial tenant, the naming convention and the domain name from the Microsoft side is cloudapp.azure.com. If I scroll down a little bit here, I'm gonna use, if you are using a virtual machine skill set, then you have to use cloudapp.azure.com. I am going to use a virtual machine skill set in my lab, so I'm going to use this one. But if you're using a classic deployment, you can go with the cloudapp.net. My last deployment was classic, so I used just the cloudapp.net over there. All right, and here are some examples if you want to go over this. And I'm not using a public provider certificate, using my own PKI, so I'm going to go over the process with you as well. So that was the step number 1. Very simple, just to find out that you have that globally unique name available. So I'm going to use Azure Lab Academy 01.ecus.cloudapp.net for my lab purposes. Okay, so the second deployment step is prepare CMG certificate. Quite honestly, if you are not familiar with the PKI, that could be a nightmare. But since I already gone through the PKI environment in my either I think first or second lecture, feel free to visit that. But I am going to show you how to create the certificate from the scratch anyway. So we need 2 certificates for this CMG purposes. One is, if I go in here, Trusted Root Cert. The other one is CMG Server Authentication Certificate, either issued by PKI, the public provider, or the PKI. So let's go with the easy one first, the Trusted Root Cert, how to export the Trusted Root Cert. So you go to the PKI machine. That's my PKI machine. It's my PKI name here. Right click on the PKI name properties and click on View Certificate. Go to Details, copy to File, Next, give it a path, like whatever the Trusted Root Cert, and hit Save. Since I already have it exported, I'm not going to do it, but this is how much simple it is to export the Trusted Root Cert. The second is the client web server authentication certificate with the private key for CMG, right? So once you find out that you have the name available on Azure or either command prompt, right? Note it down somewhere, okay? Because you need this thing under the common name. That would end up becoming a subject alternative name under the certificate. So I noted down this name because it's available. While you're on PKI, the second task is to create the CCM web server certificate with the private key. So you go in the templates here, hit manage, and duplicate the web server template here. So duplicate the web server template, go to general, give it a nice name like SCCM, MECM, CMG, cert with private key, something like that. Sorry about that. Okay, so you have the name provided, and request handling, make sure you have the allow private key to be exported. And the third important thing here is the security. Under the domain, you have to assign the domain computers domain computers with read and enroll rights. I'm not going to do it because I already have it available. I'm going to show you the properties what I have it available for this. So this is the template I created. Now go in there into the settings. I give it a name, proper, compatibility settings, nothing, request handling, only option is allow private key to be exported, nothing under cryptography, key attestation, extension, nothing, and the security, domain computers, read and enroll, and hit OK. That's it. Once you have the template available, you need to issue the template. You go in here, manage certificate template to issue, and pick up the certificate template. Since I already issued it, it's not going to show me under the available list. But once you have it set up, come here, click on that and hit OK. Once you hit OK, you will see the certificate template being issued, already issued here. In my case, it's right here, SCCM CMG web server with private key. Since we are choosing, if I show you real quick here, CCM web server, CMG web server, private key. Under the request handling, we are doing allow private key to be exported. And one more thing I wanted to show you here real quick. General subject name. Yes, that's important. So supply in request. It's not going to be built from Active Directory information. It's going to be supply in request. So basically we will be supplying an information to generate a certificate for us. So that's super important here. So hit cancel. We have the certificate template already issued. The next thing is to generate a certificate and export it for our future use for SCCM CMG. So we will go, so now we have the template issued. That means my clients can request a certificate from this template. So I'm going to go into the server where I plan to host the CMG. That's also happened to be my CCM server in this case. You go to certlm.msc, which is also known as computer management, computer store, and personal certificate, all task, request new certificate, hit next, next, and find the template you just created. So this is the one, SCCM CMG web server with private key. Don't hit enroll or nothing, it wouldn't let you do it. Click on more information is required because this is a supply in request template. So when you do that, make sure that the first subject name is set to common name and the alternative name is set to DNS. And put the exact same name here, the one you copied earlier, the one you found out that it's available. So in my case, this is here. I'm gonna paste it. Hit add, and apply, and OK. When you hit apply, OK, and then enroll it. I'm not gonna do it because I have already done this. When you hit apply, OK, and enroll it, come back here under the certificate, look for the template. In my case, it's a SCCM CMG web server with private key template. When I open this certificate here, details, when I go in here under the subject alternative number, and sure enough, I have Azure Lab Academy 01.eastus.cloudapp.azure.com. Perfect. So I have the template available now. The next thing is so we did the prerequisite work for the SCCM CMG so far. The next thing is, there is one more thing which is also required. It used to be required, but I couldn't find the documentation, but let me show you anyway. So when you go under the subscription, there's the providers. Resource providers here. and you click on resource provider. You make sure you have one of those. I think it's one of this is the storage one. Let me check 1 second. Here it is. So I got that here. I'll show you real quick. Azure resource provider. So CMG version is the following resource provider. So this provider require providing Azure subscription. They're very depending on. So if you don't have it enabled, make sure these resource providers are enabled. So Key Vault is storage, network, and compute. Okay. So I'm gonna go to storage, network, compute. Let me see. Key Vault. So I have all the provider enabled anyway. So I don't have to worry about this step. But I'm gonna note down this step in my blog as well. So that's it from the client, from the Azure portal side. So let's go for the actual deployment. So far what we have done here, I'm gonna to configure Azure services, deploy CMG. We are on the third step here, configure Azure services. So I'm gonna add this third step into add register resource providers on Azure, and the second is add Azure services in MECM, and third one is create the web server app registration. Okay, perfect. Alright, so let's go back in there, the SCCM server. Minimize this. I have the right certificate. So if you go under the administration cloud services, first thing, make sure that you have you need to add this service for the CMG. So I click on configure Azure services over there. I'm gonna give it a name like call it like Azure. Maybe just give it the same name. Like Azure Lab Get Me 01. We'll just add the word CMG next to it in the end. Okay. Alright, perfect. So I'm going to choose the cloud management service. Here, hit next here. This is my Azure public, not the Azure government. And I'm going to browse here. Okay, so before that, if you do not have already the cloud service name available, you have to create one here. Since I already have one, let me create the new one, brand new. So we'll just create new here. Application name would be, I'm gonna give it like 01, and we'll give it the name CMG in the end. Okay, secret key, I'll just set it to 2. I have to sign in with my account with the global admin permissions. So when I hit sign in here, alright. Proof. Okay. Alright, so it's picked up my tenant automatically. And when I hit OK, Perfect. So it created a service and the app friendly name is Azure Lab Academy 01 CMG. When I hit OK, I'm going to use this service and the native client app. If you don't have a native client app, I already deleted this before I restarted the whole lab to show you guys from the scratch. So you create new native client app here. Same process. Just gonna give it the name here, 01 CMG native client app NCM, or just use the word native. I'll just use, just thinking it has to be globally, not the unique, but Azure Lab Academy 01 CMG native client app is fine. So CMG I have to note down in case I have to go to Azure and look for this app. Okay, hit sign in one more time. Just pulling the information from my tenant. Okay, perfect. Okay, hit OK. Next. I'm gonna follow the documentation here. So the next thing, disable Azure AD authentication for non-device or user. So enable Azure Directory Group and Active Directory. I'm gonna just disable these settings because I'm not gonna enable the Azure Active Directory user discovery. So leave it disable, hit next, next, perfect. So I have the cloud service available now in config-man. That's pretty much half of the work we already did. Okay, so the next step is to deploy the configuration management CMG gateway. So I'm gonna hit pause a little bit and let me catch up on the documentation and get back to you. Sorry, I was speaking on mute. So if you want to verify if your application got successfully created, so under the Azure Active Directory Enterprise Applications, type the name Azure Lab. In my case, it says 01 CMG. So this the nice part about this, you really don't have to do anything. As long as the application is provisioned behind the scene, you should be good to go. No need to change ownership, permissions, etc. So that looks good here. So next piece is we're going to deploy the CMG. All right, so it's time to deploy the CMG now. Let's go back to CCM. Ooh, what happened? Okay, so I'm under the administration piece. I'm going to go under the cloud distribution. Sorry, no cloud distribution, actually the cloud management gateway. Okay, I'm going to create a new cloud management gateway here. It's a public cloud. I'm going to go with the new option, which is the virtual machine skill set. This is what we prepared the environment for. And when you click on sign in, okay, so it picked up my tenant name and the Azure app name I added under my config-man under the Azure services. So, and it picked up my subscription as well. So it is important to have at least you have a E5 license to serve the process. When you hit next, okay, so this is the screen where you did all the work for. So the first certificate here is called Specify Server PKI certificate for this cloud service. So remember the certificate we exported, which is Web Server Authentication with Private Key. So I'm gonna go under Oh, actually, I have to copy that certificate. I didn't copy them, or maybe I did. Let me see. Okay, so it's sitting here. Let me see. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna pick up the first certificate here, which is coming with the private key. Since coming with the private key, I protect it with the password. Hit OK. Service has the following error. The service did not have the valid DNS name. Okay, let me check why it does not have a valid DNS name. If it does not, okay, so deployment name is eastusazurecloudapp.azure.com, which is okay. Okay, so most likely what I did here is I added the extra eastus.cloudapp.azure.com. So let me see what the service name I have. This is the fun part, to troubleshoot, like to see how does it look like. So let me see, what is that? Open details. Let me see what's the service I have. Subject alternative name. So I have Azure Lab Academy 01 ECUS 01.ecus.cloudapp.azure.com. So I get back to deployment name. Let me see, what was the error? The service certificate did not have the valid DNS name. So what I would do, let me go over the process real quick to make sure I have the valid DNS name. By the way, I have a different certificate as well. Let me just to see what happens if I use the other one. Okay, so this one came with Azure Lab CMG.cloud.net. Okay, so what's the difference? Let me go back in here. So let me create the certificate one more time, just for my. Let me delete this certificate. Azure Lab Academy 01. Oh, that was typo over there. Shoot. Okay, that was the problem. So Azure Lab Academy 01.eastus.cloudapp.azure.com. So let me recreate the certificate real quick. Request a new certificate. Next. Next. Now make this thing bigger. Choose this option. I'm gonna use the common name here. Paste. I'm gonna put the DNS name here. Paste. Add. Add. Let me double check this time. Lab Academy EastUS Cloud App EastUS. Okay, hit apply. Okay. And enroll. Finish. So I have the certificate here. Azure Lab Academy 01.eastus.cloudapp. I'm gonna export this certificate. Next. Export next. Give it a password here. We'll just delete the old one. And we'll give it a name. MECM CMG. Let's do a little change here. Next, finish. Okay. Okay, let's get back to CCM. Console here. There it is. So now it worked. That was just my mistake. I made a typo over there. I'll give it a description. Azure Lab 01 CMG. Can we get one more? Okay, so since I'm using East US, let me grab a resource group in East US. I'm gonna use, this is since I have only 1 or 2 clients and it's my lab. I don't want to spend too much money on this. So I would go with the lab B2 and the VM instance is 1. Okay, so this is an important piece here. Verify certificate revocation is curl. So check with your security team if they have a curl set up and their clients on the internet can, if curl service can reach out to the clients on the internet and verify if the curl service can revoke those certificates, go with this option. And I recommend this option as well. Since it's my lab, I don't have a curl service that could reach out to my client. I don't have it properly set up, so I'm gonna uncheck this. Another thing is allow CMG to function as a cloud distribution point and serve content from Azure storage. So this is a new way to distribute content from the cloud management gateway. So I'm gonna leave it checked here. Hit next. Okay, this is the way to save your money and to stop your service. If you run out of dollars, you can turn on this, like turn on 14-day threshold alerts for monitoring outbound data transfer. For example, like if you're expecting more traffic, then if your client's sucking more traffic from the CMG, then Azure service is gonna bill you more. So this is the way you can set up here, or in fact you can go one step further, stop this service when critical threshold is exceeded. I'm not gonna use that, otherwise I may end up stopping my service. So I'm gonna hit next, and close. This thing will take time, so I'm gonna pause the video and get back when it's completed. Alright, so I waited for about like 30 minutes or so. Your case might be different. And if I show you the current status here under Cloud Services, Cloud Management Gateway, it's showing under ready state and the sales description configuration update complete because I just hit the synchronization update. But I don't have any connection point here. So we will go to the site server here, which is SCCM01. Since I already had the Cloud Management Gateway role before, but I'm gonna just remove it and start from the scratch. If you already had it and you redeploy the Cloud Management Gateway, you just have to go to the properties and choose the new instance of the Cloud Management Gateway here. I'll go ahead and remove it and we'll do it from the scratch just so you guys know. So that got deleted. So how do you add that? Add site system role. Hit next, and I'm gonna use Cloud Management Gateway connection point here. Hit next, and it automatically picked up the Cloud Management instance here. Next, perfect, and close. Alright, so let's get back to the Cloud Management Gateway. Check the connection analyzer here. Oh, before we do that, let's see. It's okay. Hit cancel. Connection point. Okay, so I have the connection point now. Perfect. So let's do the connection analyzer to see if we are missing any configuration or settings. This is a great tool to analyze your CMG connections. When you hit start, looks good. Check connection state of CMG connection point, that's okay. It says connection state of CMG connection point is not connecting, routing to primary site. Azure may not be fully functional. More information. Alright, so I'm gonna dig into this little warning, but I don't see any error messages here. So that's a good sign. Oh, now turning to red. I just said. So testing the CMG channel for management point. Okay, so we failed to test the channel CMG. Okay, got it. See. Okay, so what I did here, I forgot to add the management point properties, but just to show you, we have two management point here. The one is on the primary server. So MP here, properties, and I check this box, allow configuration manager, cloud management gateway traffic. I'm setting up to both internet and intranet client, and I repeated the same settings for the other management point as well. So properties, internet, and make sure the CMG traffic is allowed to this MP as well. So let's get back to the cloud services. Cloud management gateway, connection analyzer, sign in. Okay. When I hit start. Okay, so now let's see, this is still okay. So this one good. So this one got succeeded. We don't need traffic on the file server, the other MP anyway. So, but yes. So what we're gonna do? I'm gonna remove the traffic to the other going to the other MP. I'm gonna only route the traffic to this SCCM01 MP. So I'll go back to server management point properties. Uncheck this box here. Might complain, but well, since we don't need traffic, so let me first do the synchronize configuration here. It's updating. I'll give it a second to get it updated. Okay, so it's in the ready state now. Sign in. Start. Good. Green, and green. Perfect. So that at this point we were able to successfully deploy the CMG. Let me see if I can go over the client. So the method I will be using to deploy the CCM client in my case is to use what do you call it, the Intune, and I'm going to show you how to add the Intune client, SCCM client over to Intune. Alright, so time to deploy the client. So I'm using Microsoft Intune to deploy my client, which I have a set laptop sitting next to me. It's not on the LAN of my lab network. It's over the WAN. So when you go in here under the administration, cloud services, cloud attach used to be like co-management, and now it's rebranded to cloud attach. Go to properties and you go to the enablement tab. This is the string you want to copy for Microsoft Intune. So I'm going to copy this string here. All of my workloads I have a co-management enable anyway, so all of my workloads are pointing to Microsoft Intune. So we'll just copy this string here. Alright, so it's time to deploy the client. So as I showed you here under the co-management, You copy the string from the enrollment properties. I'll show you one more time here. Sorry, enablement properties. I copied the entire string from my Intune client, and the client file which you can get here from under C program files, configuration manager, bin. Make sure to go under i386, important piece, and the CCM setup. This is the one you want. It's MSI format. So I already have this file uploaded in Microsoft Intune. So if I show you here, it's a line of business app. Let me get back. So Intune portal, and the app package called CCM setup.msi. Let's upload the new package. Maybe I had the old one, so let's start from the scratch here. It's CCM01C dollar program files manager bin 86 CCM setup MSI. I'll just copy this MSI file. I'll paste it here. My CCM MSI file. Go ahead and upload the new file as CCM. Oh, 1 second. Doing something wrong here. Seems that our problem. Why don't I just do one thing? Leave this policy alone, unassign everything, and I'll just create a brand new policy. It's not actually a policy, it's an app. So I am under apps, Windows, and I'm gonna create the new one. Just going to be a line of business app. So it's Windows MSI select. I'll select the package file here. Did I even copy this or no? Oh man, I didn't copy the file. Okay, here it is. Open. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna hit select Microsoft. Ignore app version is fine. Under the command line argument, what I copied here. It's called string. I'll just copy this guy here. Complete command. Paste it here just to make sure I have everything correctly set up. I'll go ahead and match with my existing policy, the one which was working. Sorry, apps, Windows. So the string, what's this? This is the oldest string, so I'm gonna paste the string here to match what's different. Okay, so CCM setup. So CMD. Okay, so I guess the only thing I need here is the MP name, which is this. So these are two different commands. So first I'm checking no curl, that's okay. So I'm gonna use this one first and put it under my MP. Okay, and the same thing here. proxy. I have to copy everything actually from this to all the way. So easier proxy. Okay. So this is a command. So the first command is doing is no crowd check. The other one is I've been trying to reach out to the CMG. I'll paste it here. And remote our policy right here. Give it a name, config manager, client bootstrap, call it Azure Lab Academy 01. In fact, I will send you. Okay. We don't need this app to be featured. Next assignment, let's say I'm not gonna assign it because I have a specific laptop. Or actually, you know what? Let's do all users and all devices. Assignment. I have a group called Autopilot. Autopilot all devices. So let's assign it to this group as well. Okay, perfect. Let's wait some time to see if the client is reaching out to the laptop. In the meantime, I wanted to show you a few things. Here, go back to the config man. So once you enable or deploy CMG, make sure that proper traffic is coming to the MP that I already showed you. If you have a software update point listed under the primary site, and if you plan to update your internet-based clients, make sure you go to the software update properties and allow CMG to deliver the traffic. Another thing is I have the boundary group here. Not sure if it's a good idea, but I did it here. For example, this one, the default boundary group here. Under the reference, you have to add the MPs. So it wasn't added here, so I added my CMG here. For this one, let me see what's that. I'm gonna add here as well. Okay, that I'm not using, so I'm not gonna add it here. So that's pretty much it. Let me turn on the laptop to see if the client is coming through. Yeah, nothing yet. Just turn on the laptop though. And there's one more place you can see here under devices. Oh, something's happening. That's a different package. Okay. I'll show you which laptop I'm testing with. This is the physical Dell laptop. You see that there is no client. Go to devices, Windows, pick up the laptop here. Let's go to the manage apps. That's the one we're waiting for. Oh, hit the sync. Yay! So I just waited for 2 minutes or so. It shows installed here. This looks good. So let me go to the laptop here to see what's actually happening in the laptop. But from the laptop side, things not moving. We'll just wait. This is the first time I'm seeing the Intune status is faster than the laptop itself. Alright, let me save. The package distribution is completed in the laptop. I don't see any activity in the laptop though. Syncing my laptop from the settings to see if it pulls any package here. Or maybe it did pull the package, it just got disappear. And it's just taking time. Let me check the logs under C Windows, CCM. Yeah, I will give it some time. It shows from the Intune side got installed, but essentially it will show up in SCCM because I have a query set up for to grabbing Azure AD joint devices, because this laptop is Azure AD joint, no connectivity to on-premises at all. So as soon as it turns green, I will show you in my next video, and we're gonna wrap up today here, and hopefully it was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. Thanks, bye.